You can learn more about plans to pay for the Red Line commuter rail. Earlier this week, the city leaders voted to approve a $93 million plan to pay for the project. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane now live this morning with details on today's meeting. Richard, good morning.
Good morning to you, Ben. Good morning, Kaylin. Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Yeah, if you want to know about the Red Line and you happen to be in the Davidson community here, you might want to come out today from 10 to 1 o'clock because they'll have a meeting to discuss updates on the commuter rail line, that Red Line project. The 25-mile rail line would connect uptown Charlotte to Huntersville, Cornelius, Davidson, and Mooresville. The meeting will cover station design, transit connections, and the project will also how it will support economic growth in this area. Now, if you are here or in the surrounding areas of Davidson, this is your opportunity to have your voice heard. CATS officials say the line would provide a much-needed transportation alternative along that congested I-77 corridor. And this meeting is a chance for all residents in this area to learn more about the project's progress and share their thoughts.
Is the station located on a site that is easy for cars, bicyclists, and pedestrians to access? That's really important. Does the town or taxpayer directly benefit from the station location through a sale or lease to CATS?
And of course, we've got a lot more information on our website about all of this Red Line project and how it's going. And I know, just as I toss back to you guys, I know Ben knows and can get more answers than even on our website, right, Ben?
Perhaps. We're about to find out, Richard. Thank you for that. The Red Line, of course, a major part of the city's overall transit plan. I talked to the mayor, Vi Lyles, to find out where the city stands with support from Raleigh, which is necessary, and what happens if this big plan they've talked about for years falls through. Charlotte Mayor Vi Lyles joins us now from the Government Center in Uptown. Mayor, good to see you again.
It's good to be with you and your audience, Ben.
So fill us in. Where do we stand right now with the transit plan? I know timing is critical at this point. You've got to get approval by state lawmakers if we want to get this 1-cent sales tax on the November ballot. How are we progressing?
Well, we're continuing to define what we're trying to do, and especially so that we can be easily, if we get the opportunity to have this referendum, we want to make sure that people understand what we're trying to accomplish, which is number one, for all of our communities. If you think about how we have not had the opportunity to increase infrastructure, it has been something that we really will begin to think about. So we're talking about congestion and traffic and safety, and trying to make sure that people understand that these are opportunities for us to actually have better management of how we get to work, or how we plan for infrastructure. How do we do much of this? So I believe that, we're still working on the Red Line, the Better Bus program, so that people can come and ride our buses in safety and be, I think it ought to be something like when you see it in Europe, that you have a safe and clean place on a bus. So we're trying to get all of that put together. But more importantly, we've had really great discussions with many of the people in the legislature. And our hope is that we will continue to work with them and let them see how much of a difference this could make for our economy as well. We're talking about roads and we're talking about trains. And that's what we want people to understand.
To that point, you guys have spent years talking about this and working on this. We're talking about billions of dollars. The price tag keeps on going up just because that's the way inflation works right now. But to your point, though, you need the General Assembly's okay. And that has, as you know, been evasive up until this point. Do you right now have any real tangible reason to believe your new efforts have won over Republican lawmakers in Raleigh?
You know, Ben, I can't say what the Republicans in Raleigh are going to say and do, but I do believe that we have put forth an effort that shows them the opportunities that it provides. And it's because we've joined in with the entire region. Charlotte is a region now. So when you're talking about what we want to do, it's not just because of what we're going to do inside our city limits, but think about what Cornelius and Davison are doing in terms of their own infrastructure and their needs. So as we continue to grow, and we're going to grow in terms of a region, we have to work together for every part of it. It's not just Charlotte. I think that would probably be difficult. It's always been our difficulty is if when we go by ourselves, we don't get things done. When we go with the region, I think there's real potential for access for our legislators to understand that this is a region. This is something that we have to do together.
If a referendum doesn't make it to the ballot this year, what happens? Is there a backup plan?
Next year is a backup plan. So if we can't do it this year, but we get the permission, we will put it on the ballot for our voters to decide if this is something that they believe that will have a good economic impact, that we will have better safety, and we will have better roads and buses.
You told me a few years ago,
as well as an extension to the Blue Line. We're going to extend the Blue Line as well.
Gotcha. You told me a few years ago that you felt like affordable housing was the most pressing issue facing Charlotte. The city has made inroads because of that. Do you feel like affordable housing is still the most pressing issue here?
You know what I've learned? I probably shouldn't have said that. That's what I should have learned with you, Ben. I would say that we cannot wait and choose one need over another. We're trying to work on a need that actually addresses all of these opportunities for us. The city is growing. Our growth is so extensive and people are coming. And so we can't choose one thing. I think that in terms of what my career has been about, affordable housing is absolutely one of the closest things that I do, but you cannot ignore the ability to have new jobs, to have people come in, and to be able to express that we can do many things as long as we have everything together. So last month, we had our Housing Service Division working with community leaders on our consolidated plan. A lot of that is from the federal government and what we have to do, but we are committed to serving the public, our residents, so that we can have more than one thing going at a time.
Just getting your reaction, we know Charlotte is filled with a lot of immigrant communities, and we've also seen nationwide these raids happen under the new Trump administration. Your message to some of those communities?
Well, I think our city initiatives have proven their standing in terms of we've been instrumental in fostering a city that where everyone can thrive and contribute. And if we are doing this, we also have to look at complying with federal requirements. So I believe that the city will continue to engage and support the immigrant community through any advances that we can to make it possible. This is a difficult time. We don't have definition yet. And when we get that definition, we will work through how we can prove that these members of our community are actually helping us be a better city.
Just a few quick questions. I know we're running short on time. Do you feel like it's incumbent upon local law enforcement to help ICE?
You know, I think that the Mecklenburg County Sheriff has that opportunity, and he has been very supportive of how he can actually work with the ICE folks. So, and I've had some conversations with other mayors, but it's important that we know as a local government that we don't enforce the immigration laws, that is a federal activity and something that we are all going to have to ponder and make sure that we do it with strength and appropriate opportunities.
The president revoking diversity efforts at the federal level, how does that impact, or does that impact the city of Charlotte? I know it's something you've spoken about in the past, and it's something you're passionate about.
Well, I am passionate about people getting fair and equitable treatment. I am very concerned that we have these opportunities that we have with our corridors to make sure that when we are working through, we're doing stuff to change disparity into opportunity. And that's where I think we are best with DEI efforts, that we are actually correcting things that we can prove were harmed for others.
All right, 2 questions left. You have to make a decision in a few months. Are you going to run for another term?
I will have to make a decision in a few months. That's correct.
And we'll have to have the mayor back on to see what she decides.
That's right.
You asked a lot of great questions. I know when it comes to transit, you've been following this for years. The city obviously trying to get that transit plan passed for years. Do you think that their new strategy could get any movement in terms of with Republicans?
Honestly, I'm not convinced. It's shocking to me, and granted, I'm not a part of the behind-the-scenes conversations, but it's shocking to me that they, at this point, do not have some sort of behind-the-scenes guarantee from Raleigh lawmakers. Okay, guys, what you're talking about right now, we're on board with. This is it. You guys have found the right mix. I think we can get support for this. It doesn't seem like that sort of behind-the-scenes guarantee is happening. It sounds like city officials have come up with a new plan that they think that Republican lawmakers are going to get on board with. But it doesn't sound like they have any guarantees yet. And so I'm not convinced that it's going to pass in the General Assembly.
Yeah, we saw early on they were having meetings, all of the stakeholders coming to those meetings. Those meetings continue even to today. So maybe they're hoping that they'll get the ear of someone.
I think they're hoping, but I mean, you've got to keep in mind you have almost completely Democratic city council and you have a Republican-dominated General Assembly who view transit and taxes very differently, just from a philosophical standpoint. So it's a big hurdle, and I'm not convinced, based on what I've heard, that the hurdle's been overcome yet.
We'll have to see how it shakes out.
That's right.